Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning everyone. So today I will share with all of you my assignment on hepato, renal, dermal and respiratory toxicity. Okay, as an introduction, so what is the dose toxicity referred to? It's actually the specific target organ toxicity, where it's involved specific organ or specific target organ due to the exposure to the certain food toxicant or xenobiotics. So what is toxicity? It's actually the cellular or biochemical changes in the target organ due to the exposure to food toxicants or xenobiotics, such as it can be happen the cell replacement, such as fibrosis. Then it can damage the enzyme system, this disruption to the protein synthesis, production of reactive chemical in the cell, as well as the DNA damage. And what is the target organ here? Target organ is actually the damage, the organ that is damaged by the toxicants or xenobiotics or its metabolites. There may be more than one target for the toxicity of particular substance, because one substance or one food toxicant can affect more than one target organ. Okay, for this assignment purposes, I will share with you four types of toxicity. So there's a more than four, and you can refer to Dr. Hafiz's slides. In the previous class, there's a organ toxicity slides, right? Okay, so for this assignment, so I will share with you first is on the hepatotoxicity that usually will happen due to the oral exposure or due through the food that we consume that containing the food toxicants. Number two is the renal toxicity, also due to the oral exposure. I can say that hepatotoxicity and renal toxicity is actually the most common toxicity that happen due to the exposure to the food toxicant. And then number three is the dermal toxicity that can happen due to the skin exposure through skins. And number four is the respiratory toxicity through the inhalation. Okay, the first one is the hepatotoxicity. So the target organ for hepatotoxicity is the liver. You can see from the word hepa, right? It's actually referring to the liver. And sometimes it can also happen in the bile duct as well as the gallbladder due to the location of those target organ in the body, the location. And what is the cause of this toxicity? So it can happen due to the exposure to the food additive, certain food additive, also due to the alcohol abuse, excessive alcohol consumption, and the fungal toxin also, so-called aflatoxin B1, can cause liver cancer, especially to those who already has a problem with their liver, such as maybe person who has the hepatitis B. So they will get more high chances to get the liver cancer when they exposed to the aflatoxin B1. And other than that is the environmental toxicants such as heavy metal and some medicinal plants. And what is the symptoms if the person getting hepatotoxicity? So sometimes the liver will enlarge, become bigger, larger, and then they can feel the stomach pain, nausea, and vomiting, fatigue, dark color urine, light color bowel movement, jaundice, the eyes, the skin become yellowish, loss of appetite, as well as the fever. And this will leading to the happen to the cirrhosis, the hardening of the liver, hepatic cancer, fatty liver, hepatic necrosis, as well as the hepatitis. Okay, so why I mentioned just now hepatotoxicity is one of the common toxicity can happen due to the exposure to the toxicants. It's because the function of this liver in our body, because it's actually the where is those metabolism happen. So when the toxicant become metabolized, so there will be a lot of there's possibility of the accumulation of those toxicant as well as its metabolites in the liver. So that's why there's a highest chances to happen the hepatotoxicity due to the exposure to the food toxicants because of the function of the liver in our body. Okay, so second one is the renal toxicity, also known as nephrotoxicity. So it's actually caused by the muscle tissue breakdown or rhabdomyolysis that leads to the kidney damage due to the exposure to the food toxicants and xenobiotic. So in this case, the target organ is the kidney, the renal. Okay, so the common causes uh, uh, that cause this renal toxicity is the excessive consumption to the alcohol as well, heavy metals as well as the cocaine. And the symptom for this renal toxicity is decreased urination, swelling from fluid retention, high blood pressure, proteinuria, where they can find a lot of protein in the urine, as well as it can also affect other body systems such as liver and the skins, where it can show the sign in those areas as well. So this symptom actually at the end of the day, the renal toxicity will cause the damage to the kidney, and that's why the people has to do the dialysis. Okay, so as I mentioned just now as well, the renal is one of the most common toxicity happen. So this is due to the also the function of the organ, because we know that the renal is the kind of filter, well, a filter in our body, where those anything that enter our body will be filtered uh, here in the renal, in the kidney. So there's a possibility of accumulation those toxicants as well as the xenobiotic in the renal. So that's lead to the toxicity of the renals. So the third one is the dermatoxicity. So dermal is the skin. So dermatoxicity is the ability of toxicant to cause a local reaction. So the reaction happen in the surface of the skins, or the systemic poisoning. Systemic poisoning is when they expose to the skin and then they go entering the body. Okay, through the skins, so in people or animal by contact with the skins. Okay, so but somehow we learned in the previous class that the human skin is not very permeable, because it has there's a few several layers, so it's a very good barrier for the toxicant. So but somehow the absorption will depends on the toxic material, so whether it depends on the chemical composition as well as the solubility. So what substance that cause this dermatoxicity? One of it is the pesticide. We can see when there are people somehow they're working to spray in the farm, they spray the pesticide, right? So somehow they have to know the direction of the wind, so that the pesticide that they sprayed didn't go back to themselves, so that they didn't get exposed to the pesticide. And other than that is the solvent that maybe we use in the laboratory. So that's how when we need to wear the mask, the glove, as well as the lab coat to protect us from the exposure to the toxicant that can cause the dermatoxicity. So other than that, ketones, chlorinated compound, alcohol, nickel, as well as phenols. So the symptoms of this dermatoxicity is the defecting the skins, rashes, as well as irritation. This is all the local reaction due to the dermatoxicity. Okay, and the last one is the respiratory toxicity. So the target organ for respiratory toxicity is the lung, because we know that the respiratory system, right? So the target organ will be the lung. So what is the cause of this respiratory toxicity? So usually this is due to the exposure to the indoor or outdoor pollution. You know that for outdoor pollution, it came from the industry, from the vehicles, right? From indoor, maybe the ventilation of the room is not good enough, so it can cause the respiratory toxicity, such as the smoking as well can be the respiratory toxicity, can be the cause of the respiratory toxicity. The substance, maybe the oxides of the nitrogen, ammonia, asbestos, chlorine, oxides of sulfur, gasoline, vapor, as well as benzene. So the symptom of this respiratory toxicity can be cough, tightness in the chest, short of breath, fatigue, as well as discomfort or worsening symptom when you are lying on your back. So this is actually the respiratory toxicity can lead to the chronic bronchitis, emphysema and fibrosis, as well as the cancer. Okay. So with that, I end my presentation. Thank you.